It was a day of celebration in Green Bay. The Super Bowl champion Packers celebrated with their fans at Lambeau Field. The Pack brought the Lombardi Trophy back to the city known as Titletown for the first time in 14 years. And the trophy might stay there for a while. The collective bargaining agreement between the owners and the players expires March 4th. And after that, a lockout could jeopardize whether any football is played next season. The major issues the two sides need to hammer out: how to split up the $9 billion a year the NFL generates, whether to expand the season to 18 games, creating a wage scale for first-year players, and funding benefits for retired players. Before the Super Bowl, Commissioner Roger Goodell stressed the importance of getting a deal done sooner rather than later.
My focus is on the next 3 or 4 weeks. I've often said our agreement expires on March 4th. We have to use that period of time to reach an agreement that's fair for the players, fair for the clubs, and allows our great game to grow for our fans.
For more now, we are joined by Ken Belson. He covers the business of sports for the New York Times. Ken, thanks for being with us.
Sure.
All right, the biggest issue out here is obviously money, how much each side will get. The owners want the players to concede, what, about $1 billion here. But the NFL is making money. Is this a good deal for anybody involved? I mean, how's this going to shake out?
Well, the players obviously think they have a great deal going right now, and who can blame them? They're getting about 50% of the total revenue of the league after some deductions. The problem is, the owners say, is that going forward, we're in a new economy. This deal was struck in 2006 before the recession. They need more deductions off of that total pie to allow them to invest in new stadiums, new scoreboards, all the sort of things that bring people out to the game. So they're really saying it's not that we're losing money now, it's just we have to look at our future.
But that's a bit of a hard argument, isn't it, when the NFL is making some cash to say, look, yeah, we're making money, but we need you to cut back.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And, you know, if you're a player saying we've got a good deal, why should you give it up? Now, of course, if you face the possibility of not playing next season, and let's say you're in your last year, or maybe even you're a rookie making the minimum, and you need those games to get closer to a pension, to get closer to that big contract, you're more willing, I assume, or at least the owners assume, that you'll pressure the union membership to sign a deal with the owners.
You're talking about those rookies. What is it, a guaranteed $585 million that the owners want that number to come down? Even the players want that to come down. Is this an area in which we may see a bit of a compromise and agreement?
Well, in a lot of labor deals, it's the current group that is looking out for itself. And so you're willing to sacrifice benefits for future players if it means, you know, keeping your own job and keeping your own pie as large as it was. And the reality is most football players don't last more than 3 or 4 years. So for them to think about future generations is kind of a hard sell to the membership.
And in order to make this work, according to what is out there on the table, they want to increase the number of games to 18. That's something the players aren't really that interested in doing.
Yeah, well, they claim it'll lead to more injuries, especially as you get tired as the season goes on. However, the league says that 18 games, those 2 additional games that will be preseason and turned into regular season games, will generate about $500 million, which they will claim, will be shared amongst the players, obviously. So you can get to closer to the league's number by adding 2 games without having to go to the other $1 billion in takebacks that they want.
Here's another bit of a rub. The NFL is going to get $4 billion from the television networks, even if no games are played next year. But if there are no games played, the players will not get paid. So can players survive a work stoppage if that indeed does occur?
Well, if you're a Peyton Manning, and you've got your big deal, sure. Tom Brady, he's not going to have any trouble. If you're a guy on the practice squad who maybe is only making $5,000 a month during the season and has no health benefits if there is a lockout, you're going to be wanting to vote for some deal to get done, even if it means maybe slicing the pie a little bit for the future generation.
So if the season is canceled, let's just worst case scenario, it is canceled, will we see a loss of enthusiasm like we did in 1994 where baseball underwent that strike, and it seemed like it took a couple years at least for baseball to come back?
That's right. If you remember, it was the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire home run race in 1998. That was about 4 years later that fans finally came back in the great numbers, and since then they've had record numbers. I think the same would probably happen here. And in football, you have things that you don't have in baseball. You have personal seat licenses. Fans are putting up tens of thousands of dollars, effectively loaning money to the team for the right to buy a ticket. Now you don't even have the ticket to buy. I think you'll have some very angry fans.
Okay, bottom line, and what will we have football next year?
I think we'll have football next year. I think it's going to go past the March 4th deadline. I think they'll have the draft in April. That'll keep fans interested. We could have a deal cut in late spring, summer.
All right, so you're hopeful then?
I am hopeful, yeah.
It may take a little extra time. It's going to be hard bargaining between now and then, right?
Yeah, I think so, and you've got personalities on both sides you have to account for.
Just a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah. This
Right.
is football. Right.
This is true. Ken Belson from the New York Times, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank
We
you.
really do appreciate it.